Here lies Gareth's fear of death.
I love it.
This is the weirdest thing I've ever done. It's true, this is without a doubt the most uncomfortable episode I've ever filmed. The goal of this New Day in the Life series is to tell stories of unique people, fascinating cultures, and interesting professions, from Amazon tribes to animal shelters. And today in this video, I joined 2 licensed morticians at a cutting-edge mortuary just outside of Seattle, Washington, who take me through the entire process step by step, from specific costs to crazy ghost stories, and show me the difference between traditional procedures and a new alternative to this unspoken profession. And my goal for the day is to just try not to let it all overwhelm me beyond a breaking point.
Like they were being quiet.
No, I'm out of here.
And it was tap, 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 tap. You missed.
Morning.
Mr. Skelly has arrived.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brie. This is Lauren. And today is a day in the life of a mortician. But not just any mortician. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We have someone from the new school and someone from the old school coming to give 2 different perspectives on this very seldomly talked about profession. This is probably the most uncomfortable I've ever been filming an episode today. I have a feeling. A lot of mixed emotions coming into this, but here we are. This channel is all about new perspectives and stepping out of our comfort zone, and it starts with this. I guess the first question is, what is a mortician?
A mortician is a licensed professional that helps care for the deceased in all aspects of funeral planning and burial or final disposition.
And Brie, at this location, it is a human composting location.
Right.
Still a funeral home, still a mortuary,
Yeah.
and a green versus a traditional. And that's why we're together, because I wanted to show the difference and wanted to get 2 different perspectives.
New school and old school. So depending on how the deceased died, if we have wounds to the body, the torso, the face, the first step is we need to embalm.
Okay.
What embalming is going to do is we're going to drain the body of blood. Blood is also the fastest part of your body that decomposes and breaks down, so we
Okay.
want to replace that with embalming fluid. Then the body is going to essentially dry out and the tissues are going to firm up. We'll just use glue, maybe some tissue, and pack the area. We might have to use tissue filler, which is like a waxy substance, and then use cosmetic over the top.
And now, what will we do? We're gonna call him Skelly for the day. What do we do with Skelly in this location?
So at return home, when we bring people into our care, we like to clean them and give them a bath. So we rid him of any external bacteria, because that also accelerates the decomposition process.
I got you. Okay.
And we're trying to delay it in case the family wants to see their loved one, basically.
For me, I don't want to bury someone and have them be dirty.
Yeah.
So this is a really important part of the process where we get to clean up that area
Okay.
and just get them to look presentable for the family for the final viewing.
Fair enough.
Sacred, like reverent work. You know,
Yeah.
we're taking people and putting love into them.
This is gonna be a heavy day. This is gonna be a heavy day. All right. Let's say we gave Skelly a bath. It's a very serious job. so
Very.
comedy has to be a part of it, right?
Yes, we cannot do our jobs if there's not a little bit of humor, but it's a serious job, but it's also filled with a lot of love. So I really want that to come across today,
Yeah.
that everything that we do here is purposeful and filled with love.
There's nothing really funny about our job, but that's why we have to make everything else funny.
I like that. All right, so we wash Skelly, and then we would put him in the refrigerator.
Yeah, so he would hang out in refrigeration until he's ready to be placed in his vessel.
Okay, Skelly,
He won't go anywhere.
stay here. All right, assuming the deceased is cleaned up and cared for, note no embalming fluid or toxins are added here. It's time to tag in the NOR tech, or natural organic reduction technician, to help prepare his vessel.
A vessel is like a casket.
Okay,
To
that's a
dumb it down.
Yeah, that would be good.
It's like a casket, but it's not a casket.
Okay.
Because they do rinse them out and they
disinfect them and reuse them
Oh, okay.
for each person. So that wall of vessels, that is the vessel that the body is placed inside of while it naturally decomposes
Okay.
to become compost.
So we have a mixture in here of straw, alfalfa, and sawdust. Sawdust absorbs moisture.
Okay.
Straw is insulating and helps keep the vessel warm. Then alfalfa helps insulate but is mostly there for its nitrogen content because the microbes inside of the human body accelerate decomposition when exposed to high amounts of nitrogen.
Okay.
And so that's what's happening inside. And those are the only 3 organics we use here at Return Home.
Wow.
Straw, alfalfa, sawdust.
How many bodies did we have to test with other mixtures?
Pigs.
Pigs?
Tested on pigs. The science of this composting has existed for hundreds of years. It's called mortality composting.
Okay.
Mortality composters are people who come if you have a mass devastation of like a flock or a herd.
Okay.
They will come to your farm, they'll set up, they'll compost those animals on your farm right then and there.
Okay.
And then you use the compost for future needs for enrichment of your soil, right?
Got it.
So what you're seeing is this really robust scientific process.
Yeah.
We did 2.5 years of research and development on pigs.
Okay.
Before we ever opened to the public.
Ethically sourced pigs.
Yeah, they live long and happy lives, those pigs. That was a pig.
This is a pig?
Yeah.
What does it smell like?
Nothing.
At the
It's
end?
actually beautiful. It's
Isn't
actually
it?
very, it looks very clean.
And that will grow a healthy tree. Like that's fertile soil.
You can literally see the transfer of vitality of the person because their energy is still in there and ready to contribute and continue the life cycle
Versus going up the chimney of a cremation.
and becoming inert and acidic.
At the
That's
end,
cool.
this is the end result after they grind everything up. So
Uh-huh.
it's everything. It's everything.
What you're seeing here is modified farm equipment. We load sawdust in here and then use our forklift to dump it in the top. Our straw and alfalfa goes in that little orange bin right there, which leads to a giant bale chopper that chops it all up into the size we need, feeds it up into the mixer where it's all mixed together into our compound. And then we also have some sprinklers up there. Stand right here.
Okay.
Over. Perfect.
There's a sign that says don't stand here. Oh, that's my cleanup. Sweet. This is how you blow dry your hair in 10 seconds.
It actually is like, I've never seen that. I've been here for like 4 years.
Once the recipe of hay, alfalfa, sawdust, and water is fully ground and ready, a conveyor belt dumps the mixture into an awaiting vessel, where it's spread evenly to form a bed for the deceased.
You better be careful, Gareth. They're gonna give you a job.
So I don't know if this is my calling, but I respect it.
Now this is a process that the family will help with too. So if a family wants to come in, that's a part of that transparency.
Oh, really?
You're welcome to come in. There's a video that they had go viral of a mother that did this for her son. Where
Really?
This is what her son wanted, and she came and she made the bed just perfect just for him.
Man, you guys are trying to catch me with emotions today.
Yeah.
Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Not gonna cry. Let's get this person a pillow. Nice and posturepedic.
10 out of 10
Wow,
pillow.
you guys are too kind. All right,
It's-
Martin. Turn it back over to you.
You just prepped a whole vessel.
What we just did. That was real?
That was
happening?
real. Yeah, we have an actual service later today.
How does it feel to know that you just helped make a vessel for somebody?
Nah, these feelings today are all over the map.
We're all in the feelings. I love
A
it.
lot of feelings. Yeah.
Vessel prepared, we move right into what a funeral service would look like here.
This is the area where if a family has a service, so a lot of funeral homes will have very set, like these are the pews and we usually play these songs and this is the chaplain that we use. This space is more for people who want to see their loved one and spend time. It's like a final farewell. This space is a sacred space because it's the space where families say their final goodbyes.
So tell me traditional versus this.
You're gonna have more lighting there than they have in here. I really like their lighting. The goal of the funeral or the funeral director at those types of facilities is we wanna make the person look as alive as possible.
Yeah.
So that's why we use chemicals to help us do that, like embalming fluid and such. We don't want direct light on the deceased. Lighting is a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
It's not talked about a lot either.
You don't think about it at all.
Lighting is a really important part of the viewing and how they see their loved one.
And so that's the idea, is that our lighting kind of shows what the reality is and that the person has passed away, and we're not trying to kind of mask them or make them look alive.
Okay.
As we set up our mock service for Skelly, I very reluctantly had to ask the question, any ghost stories?
We think we have a ghost that doesn't want our fridge plugged in.
Really? Let's talk about ghosts. Martin's smiling over there.
I'm laughing because that's something I ask every new person I meet in this field.
I did have previous experiences at a funeral home that I first interned for.
Okay.
Where I would clean the windows between the chapel and the reception room at the end of the day, and I would come in the next day and there would be little handprints and I am not joking.
That
That
just
literally,
gave me crazy
me too.
goosebumps.
To piggyback off of your handprint story, I used to do very sudden deaths. I did transports for that, so
Okay.
my job would be the transporter. So I would go on scene and pick up the deceased, usually really sudden passings, and I would bring them to the medical examiner's office for autopsy.
Yeah.
And I had to bring a minor who had passed away. When I was there filling out the book, I had my back to the room, and all of a sudden I heard footsteps coming down the hallway behind me. It was 3 a.m. and I was there all alone. There was nobody in the building, no other cars in the parking lot. And what was unique about the footsteps was it sounded like a child trying to sneak up on me, like they were being quiet.
No, I'm out of here.
And it was tap, 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 tap.
No.
You missed the best part.
No.
It knew when I realized and my brain clicked with what it was, I stopped and I felt the room get colder. You could hear a pin drop and I'm waiting to see what happens. They stopped, spun on their heel and ran down the hallway back.
I'm gonna throw up. And you guys continue, and you're like, all right, that was a tough day at work.
Yeah, this is life, this is death, this is real, and you know the dead can't hurt you. At the end of the day, the dead can't hurt you. Alive people can, but the dead can't.
I didn't know that. And so you don't feel haunted in any way?
No, I think because we help bring them, it's a journey and we help bring them to the next place. And
Okay.
I think it's natural. We're all spiritual beings to want to linger after we die and kind of see what's happening. And then we move on to the next place.
Martin, what do you think?
Well, I have a lot of stories, but if we're going with handprints, I got a good one for that.
Just of my handprint category of my ghost stories.
Just to set the scene a little bit, your typical retort gonna be between 7 to 10 feet tall. Retort is the technical name for the actual machine you're using in the crematory.
Okay.
Walked in, start my shift, and I noticed there is a black smudged handprint at the very top of the retort.
Okay.
It's not necessarily uncommon, but I didn't notice any actual differences with how the retort was operating.
Okay.
And the owner of the facility was there at the time doing just typical like end of the month bills, stuff like that. And as he was coming down to leave, I happened to see him. I was like, oh, hey, did we have someone here working on the retorts? He's like, no one's been here. It's like, well, has anyone been up there for any reason? He's like, there should not have been, no. I'm like, well, then why is there a handprint right there on the top?
7 feet up.
At least 7 feet up, yeah. Stood out pretty well. And yeah, he claimed no one had been up there. I asked everyone else who was in the building within like the past few hours. No one said they saw anyone up there. And that was at the point I went to go and actually look at the handprint again.
Yeah.
Very clearly a handprint. That's also why I noticed the pointer finger and the middle finger were about the twice the length they should have been. So normal hands, and then these two fingers were down.
Whoa.
Creepy stuff.
That is creepy.
Oh.
All right, let's get out of here.
I didn't know where that was going. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, I would. So you cleaned it off and went home and cried?
Someone cleaned it off eventually. I didn't. It was not there the next day though.
What?
That was a good one.
All right, Lauren, it's not something that's normal. You don't hear as a kid, like, I dream of being a mortician when I'm older.
Some kids do have that dream, but it was not my dream. My dad owns a funeral home and he has for over 30 years.
Yeah.
And so I grew up the funeral director's daughter.
Yeah.
I get told a lot my life is a lot like My Girl.
Okay.
Seen that movie?
Mhm.
I used to follow my dad to work, and he'd ask me, do you want to do this for a job? And I'd always say no, I'd absolutely not.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a dentist and help people with their teeth. Well, I went to go to school, and I actually lost a family member of mine. He died, he took his own life in high school. And I saw him in the casket. He looked nothing like himself. His eyes were sunken in, and his hair was styled wrong. And I just remembering having this moment where I realized this was what I wanted to do, like an epiphany moment of I want to care for other people, I want to help people, and I want to be there in a time that it's the hardest time of somebody's life, and I just remember falling to my knees in grief, and I just wanted to be there to help people back up and lead them through it.
I don't know how they do it, but we keep going, and now we join the deceased with their vessel.
You got it. Just take that over. One thing you should know
I
is
know,
that
this is freaking me out. I know Skelly's under there,
Right?
but no, this is...
It looks pretty
It's
real,
Mr.
doesn't
Skelly.
it?
Yeah.
we're always supporting the head, of course.
Okay.
But ultimately, you can
that
go
a
around,
Did
Jake.
you guys hear that? You guys heard that, right?
That was Jake. Don't panic. Don't anybody panic.
Skeleton.
No!
Damn it, Jake.
Oh,
Okay.
I better see Jake in the next 10 seconds, or I'm gonna freak the fuck out.
oh, clever boy.
Damn it, Jake.
Thank God you're here.
Oh,
here.
thank you.
Bananas.
Oh.
We're gonna put bananas in the vessel with Mr. Skelly because he's lacking potassium.
Okay.
And then I think, Gareth, this would be a great place for you to step in.
Okay.
Garrett's like, no.
This is, guys, I say you gotta be comfortable with the uncomfortable. But in these situations, it's okay to be uncomfortable.
So you're gonna grab Skelly by his shoulders,
Okay.
and Lauren's gonna help you, and you're both just gonna place Mr. Skelly. We've made him a little pillow right there. You can see that little bump. And yeah, there he is. You were so gentle. That was great.
You're hired.
Yeah. And then people will put items into the vessel.
Always organic something?
It doesn't have to be organic.
Okay. All right, Skelly,
He's
here's
got a
your,
mineral deficiency.
your favorite bananas that you can take with you.
He's just all calcium.
Skelly.
Say that few last words.
Here lies Gareth's sanity.
Yeah. What's the plot?
Here lies Gareth's fear of death.
I love it.
And we're gonna close the lid on it, and now you're not gonna be scared anymore.
This is the weirdest thing I've ever done, and the most out of my box I've ever been. And ironically enough, it's all about putting people in boxes.
So when the service is over,
Similar to a
the family-
traditional procession from funeral home to cemetery, the family of the deceased is encouraged to follow the vessel as it's transported next door to the Terramation Center, where it will remain for 30 to 90 days as the body transforms into soil. This process is known as Terramation, and it's the first phase towards their final resting state. And the science behind it is fascinating.
So this is the Terramation Center where people are undergoing the process. So families will come visit their loved ones.
Yeah.
And they will actually like touch and interact with the vessel because the heat inside of it rises as time goes on.
As it's decomposing.
Right. And so they can actually feel their loved one's energy in the vessel through that warmth. And one time I had a young lady like hugging the vessel, and I asked her what she was doing, and she literally was like, I can feel my mom's warmth again. Like I'm just wrapping my arms around my mom.
Not gonna do it. All right. That's,
3 for 3 tears.
All right, so tell me cost breakdown.
Yeah, so we positioned ourselves at $5,450.
Okay.
Because in our region, that's very close to what it might cost to have a cremation with a memorial service.
Okay. And the traditional,
Traditional can range anywhere from $10,000 up, and $10,000 right now would probably be on the very low end.
Yeah, if you don't own cemetery property,
Yeah.
you're in for pretty much double, if not more, whatever just the services are going to cost plus the casket, because that's the most expensive part, right?
casket?
The cemetery property.
plots.
Oh,
So with
okay.
a traditional burial, you go into the ground. That
You're essentially
spot-
buying that piece of land, right?
We're one of the only facilities in the world that does this.
Uh-huh.
And also we've helped with legislation passing in other states because Washington was legalized in 2019 for what's called natural organic reduction.
Okay.
That's what the service is. And since then, any state with a green dot here has passed legislation, and now it's legal in that state.
And it's not necessarily illegal, it just isn't a thing?
Yeah, basically.
This
Each
is
state
too new.
has-
Too new.
Yeah, they have to write the law for
Okay.
it, essentially. But still, there's not very many people open in those states.
Okay.
So right now, there's only people operating out of Washington, Colorado, and Nevada.
Got it.
And then any gold dot you're seeing, that's where we've served families. So from all over the United States and Canada, it's a really personal choice to send your loved one through care cargo, which is via the airline,
Uh-huh.
into the care of a funeral home with funeral professionals you've never met before.
That's how the people get here?
Yeah, yeah, we pick them up at the airport
Okay.
and we bring them back here. Most likely, every single plane you've been on has had somebody who's passed away on it. That's a very, very little known fact, but there is an
What?
intricate network of mortuary shipping companies, not over the United States, but all over the world.
I really want to note though what's really unique about this map. Return Home, the human composting facility funeral home, is showing you where they have serviced families. So these families have wanted human composting so much, they come here to Seattle. They might not have any ties to Seattle other than they saw what human composting is.
Yeah.
They want something new, they want something better for the earth. And so they're making a choice to not go with traditional funeral service.
How did you make the switch from traditional funeral services to human composting?
So basically, no pun intended, I was getting burned out. In Washington, where I live, 80 to 90% of our decedents are cremated.
Really?
So I was just cremating people, like a lot. And something about that just didn't resonate with my soul after 8 years.
Yeah.
And this opportunity came along, and I saw what you saw with the compost and how beautiful it is, and that transfer of vitality, and I fell in love. Really, every single part of this really resonates more with my soul and for a lot of the people who hear about the service, because we all want something gentle and not fast and violent and invasive.
You just essentially are putting somebody in a fire, right?
Right. And multiple a day usually. So yeah, it just feels more, gentle, I think would be the best word for it.
Whew. All right.
Let's go.
All right, what do we got? Tell me the science behind this.
We come to the racking system, and here is where we are tracking a couple of things. So this probe here will track the temperature and moisture inside of the vessel.
Okay.
And then this tracks the amount of oxygen that's coming through the piping. And essentially what we're doing is making sure that, like Martin touched on earlier, that the moisture level is correct, that the temperature is where it needs to be legally, which is 131 degrees for no less than 72 hours.
Okay.
But also the airflow is really important, because too much air going through the vessel will cause everything to dry out. And essentially too much of that is what mummification is. It's a lot of air in a dry environment.
Oh, really? Okay.
So we have to make sure that moisture is right, so the person's bodies is actually decomposing and not kind of starting to dry.
Mummify.
Because
It can happen.
They need the body to break apart.
Okay.
Yeah, too wet of an environment and no air flows through, and that's a real big issue. So there's a lot of science and a lot of math involved in figuring out the correct ratios.
What's the max capacity at this point?
Right now we have capacity for 74 total people.
Okay.
That's a very high volume. So we usually are bringing in 25 or so people a month.
I think it's important to note, do you smell anything?
I don't smell anything.
And there is people actively going through Terramation right now where we're standing, and there's no odor.
It's all that. Real good HVAC. We call that the river. And that runs into a biofilter.
Chicken poop and
Wood chips.
wood chips.
Yep.
It goes into there. It basically acts as an odor filter,
Filter.
and then takes it out.
Yep. We call it the biofilter.
It's like I'm getting some Severance type feelings. I know this isn't. We got the trees on the walls. This is wild.
So while people are in phase 1, their temperature will rise, and then we'll notice the temperature beginning to fall because the organics and the nitrogen that are in the alfalfa have been exposed to the microbes in the human body. And so basically we need to do is equalize the contents within the vessel. This takes place about 3 weeks into the process, and each individual is rotated a different amount of times. Basically what we do is we place the vessel inside of the rotator. It opens up kind of like a praying mantis. It closes around the vessel and then it does several slow rotations.
Okay.
And what that's doing is it's redistributing so that the microbes that haven't hit the live nitrogen inside all come together again. And so when we rotate, we actually see a spike in temperature because that microbial activity is increasing.
Okay.
So basically, we're watching the rises and drops in the temperature of the vessel until we come to rotation and there's no more spike in temperature. And that's when we know that the body has given everything that the body has to give and that everything within the vessel is just the compost itself, and then bones remain and any metal that might be in the body or like implants or things like that.
So this is a pacemaker. That is an implant that was in somebody.
What?
This is a hip.
What's the residue?
That's people.
A little bit.
A little bit.
That happens with pretty much anything you're doing now.
Just a little bit of people on there?
Just a little bit.
Before you cremate someone, you take if they have a pacemaker, you take it out because it's got a lithium battery, and those will explode inside of the crematory.
Okay.
So when we first started terramating people, we thought we would have to remove the pacemaker, but it turns out we actually don't have to do anything like that because the temperatures inside of the vessel, they only get up to maybe 150, 160 degrees.
Okay.
Where with flame cremation, when the artificial knees, hips, joints are left over, I pick that out from the bones.
Yeah.
And she picks that out from the
compost.
compost.
The compost.
Yeah. After rotations take place and there's no spike in temperature, it's ambient, we come to screening, which is going to be similar to after a cremation. So after cremation, we open the retort, we sweep out the remains.
And that's the same thing that happens here?
Very similar. Ours is just on a large scale because we're talking ashes, we're talking about a small amount of remains.
Okay.
With this, we're talking about nearly a cubic yard of remains.
Yeah, so you saw everything that went into the vessel. It breaks down, but it all doesn't go away. So now that all gets mixed up with the person.
We place the vessel, we upend the vessel, and the contents fall down to the conveyor below. The larger bones are making their way into the screening area.
Okay.
And then we're pulling out here like the metal that would be attached to any bones. And then we come onto this screening table. This screening table allows smaller particles to fall through, and then the bones and larger bits of compost are left on top.
Okay.
And then all the bones and compost go into that grinder and come out of the other side completely uniform, and you can't identify the bone from the compost around it.
And the cremation process, is it the same, or how would this compare? It's just a much smaller system?
So, okay. So this machine is the next step. This is the processor. So this is what is going to take my bones. What I have left of bones, that machine is what is going to grind up the bones to give me the powder. This machine is going to get me to the end result. So I take my person. And that is the final result. You can see on the top the little pieces. Those are bones. Those are the bones that were ground up. They're just little pieces, and then on the bottom is the finer particles.
They come through here down into a blue cube, and then we enter what we call phase 2, which is the resting phase.
Okay.
And that is that we've broken that bone down, and so now we're going to see another spike in microbial activity because the bones have been exposed to the nitrogen.
Okay.
Where before the nitrogen can't quite penetrate the bone,
Gotcha.
which is why we don't have bones break down in nature oftentimes, right? But once you break down the bone, bones are porous. And so they will disappear, and the microbes will actually consume them and make them completely uniform.
Wow.
So these are going to our woodland property.
These are
people.
These are people.
Yeah, these are people, and they're commingled, which means there's multiple people because some families will want to take a small portion or even like half of their loved one's remains.
Okay.
And then send the other half to the woodland.
Okay.
So these would be for people who are going to go up to our woodland and be scattered on that ground where we are restorating.
One interesting thing here too is there is no smell. I've neutral. Nick, you agree?
Like mulch.
Mulch. Yeah, it's something to note because there's multiple bodies in here and that have just been let's proceed.
So when people are sent home, we place them in bags, and that would be considered like the full quantity of someone's remains. It ends up being roughly a cubic yard.
This is someone?
That's someone.
Oh.
A piece of someone. That's one whole individual.
Okay, so this pallet is as one individual.
One person. Let's say the person's 200 pounds.
Yeah.
We would put then like a 3-to-1 ratio, so maybe 600 pounds of organics in the vessel. By the time everything becomes one and then the moisture is lowered, we end up with about 250 pounds.
Okay, I got it.
On average. So that's the full quantity. That's an example of if a family only wanted like a smaller portion.
Okay. How do I say this the right way? You know how you go and you go to Home Depot or something, you buy topsoil it's good for cactuses, other ones are good for trees, some are good for flowers. What
What are people good
what
for?
are people good for in terms of growing?
Like God's perfect compost, right? So it's literally anything that could benefit from nutrients. So any living plant will benefit from the remains because, again, that's what's meant to happen to us. We're meant to become one with the earth around us again. That's throughout forever. So yeah,
I like that. That's
the
pretty cool.
idea.
I'm
good
in
for
agreement
everyone.
with that.
Now you've come full circle on why it's called Return Home.
Yeah,
Because we return home to the earth.
yeah.
I like this. I like that. I like that. Today we're gonna take a smaller size. We're gonna take it in the rental car and we're gonna take it up to the Woodlands, which is a land that is owned by Return Home.
You got it.
Listen, this is a rental car, so we're gonna take it in my car. I checked through the rental agreement and there's no small disclaimers or notes about transporting decomposed bodies, so I think we're good. All right, we're heading home. Let's go. And very quickly, we are out in the forest. We're pulling up to the Woodlands now. This is a private road. One of the great, beautiful things of the Pacific Northwest is that you don't have to go far for incredible greenery. Whoa, this is beautiful.
And this is it. Welcome home. We're entering the area where we scatter. As you
Okay.
can kind of see, there's a difference, right?
Yeah.
So basically, you can just pick a spot that you think is beautiful for this beautiful person that you've got in your hands.
Okay.
And we'll go ahead and place her down.
And you have family here?
I do. So my aunt, I think I'm the only person still at Return Home who's actually used our services.
Okay.
But my aunt passed away and we brought her into our care from Arizona. And yeah, I got to spend time with her at the firm and then we transformed her and now a portion of her remains actually are by that second tree, the one that's split in the middle right there. That's where she's at.
Wow. Okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Welcome home. I guess the big thing is like for someone who has had these emotional roller coasters all day, how do you deal with this profession mentally?
For me, this is very healing for me. So what you just did with scattering the person here, that's the final step and we just came full circle.
Okay.
And in doing that, it is so therapeutic for me. Most of us get into this line of work because we want to care for people who have died. We have someone special to us and we're like, hey, I want to help people through that too. And so when we get to help other people and do this and be here, it's like healing for my soul.
Yeah.
And this is what my purpose is in life.
One thing that I've never heard somebody say is, I'm so excited to have my mom cremated. I'm so excited for mom to be, embalmed and buried.
Yeah.
But people get excited about this. They're like, I'm so excited my grandma could pick something that so aligned with who she was in life.
I get that.
And so that is what I take out of all of this is that I loved being a traditional funeral director. I got so much out of it. And this just kind of steps it up one more because you're offering something that resonates with the soul of people instead of just an option that's available to them. They seek it, they choose it for themselves, they choose it for their loved one, and it's a really thought out and meaningful decision for them.
We did it.
We did it.
I'm gonna end the episode here because we returned home. Just as the sign on the door says. Hopefully this gives you an idea of what traditional mortician is versus this new environmentally conscious effort of a human disposal of the end of life. I guess it would be the best way to say that. And this obviously blew my mind today. All the emotions today.
All the emotions.
Yeah.
You went through all of them.
Yeah.
Like the happy, the sad,
The scared.
grief, the scared.
Yeah,
a couple
yeah.
jump scares in there.
Ladies, thank you so much for taking me out of my comfort zone. The whole point of this channel is to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes, spend a day in someone else's shoes, and to gain perspective. And I definitely gained a new perspective, and hopefully you guys did too. So from them to me to you, thank you guys so much.
you.
Really.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Nick, he hasn't cried once. I'm gonna get
I'm
him.
tearing up because you're leaving.
I gotta. Oh.
I'm like, oh no, it's over.
I gotta try. My only goal today is to try to get Nick to cry on the ride home. That's it. Nick, good work today. How do you feel about all
I'm
this?
gonna start crying now.
He
All right.
really is.
All right, let's cut here so we can all cry together.
Okay. Goodbye. That was so cute.
Before we begin this episode, I just want to make it very clear to YouTube and to all viewers that this is a reenactment. This is a skeleton. He's not real, it's plastic. We are in a real place, but we're not showing real bodies. And now, please enjoy the video. Aha! We knew it was you. Where are the bodies?
Oh my gosh, they're everywhere.
This is the Terramation.
Oh,
God dang it! What the man?
oh my gosh!
How does everybody know? I didn't even say anything.
At the
That's cool.
end. Sorry, say that again.
That's cool. I'll keep. You go.
At the end.
That's really cool. Okay, I think I want to see that.
Yeah.
Do you need some coffee first? Or a drink?
I don't know, maybe some marijuana.
You're in Washington.
Legal here.
Usually when I get nervous, I tell really dumb jokes. So if I'm gonna try to cut as many of those as possible. Do boners happen? Off record?
Well, and it's not really a boner. It's just the body stiffening up.
Rigor mortis.
Yes, I did have a guy one time. His balls were the size of basketballs.
It's called hydrocele.
The balls are worse.
The balls are horrible. It was
And they
size
can
of
stretch that big?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then do they
It's a
go
buildup
back?
of fluid. They will pop and the fluid will come out.
We have to like add a little incision, and then usually it's like a drain tube kind of situation.
I went too far. I went too far with the questions and I immediately regret it. This was a terrible idea. This whole thing was a terrible idea.
You can't back out now.
I know.
You're here. Everybody pees, everybody poops, everybody goes through decomposition, and we all return to the earth.
And everybody
one
gets
day.
basketball balls at some point.
Maybe,
Hopefully
but
not.
thankfully not me.
What do the girls get? Anything?
Not really.
I've asked too much. All right, cut.